بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Sorry, I'm told we had a technical difficulty, so I hope our listeners will bear with me. Today it is Monday, the 11th of October, and from our broadcasts, this is broadcast number 261, which is the Holy Quran, chapter 93, and this is part 5 of considering the meanings of that um, verse of the words of that verse of the Holy Quran. Just to remind you that these broadcasts are brought to you by the Lahore Ahmadiyya community, also known as Ahmadiyya and Manishayat Islam, and the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement, etc. And this organization was established by Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, who taught that although other people say that after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, at least one more prophet can come, but the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet Muhammad was Khatamun Nabiyyin. And he himself explained the meaning of that verse by saying, La Nabi Abadi, there is no prophet after me. And this worried his companions, who wondered what will happen to the Ummah if it goes astray. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam consoled them by saying that now Mujaddideen will come, reformers will come, and they will guide the Ummah. Now, naturally, when reformers come and they try and move people back to the right path, there are disagreements and so on. And people have this habit of immediately starting to call each other kafir and heretic and this and that and so on. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad drew our attention to the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, which said that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are not a Muslim, you are a kafir, you are a heretic, then it is the person saying it who's committing the heresy. So strict were the Holy Prophet's instructions about calling that no verse is missing from the Holy Quran. All prophetic revelation is in the Holy Quran. Similarly, others believe that some verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. Hazrat Shah Waliullah says that Muslims believe more than 500 verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. And Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad rejected this and said, no, Quran is complete and it is perfect. Nothing is missing. It's the definition of jihad given by the Holy Prophet Muhammad. When returning from fighting, the Holy Prophet said, we return from the minor jihad to the major jihad. And the major jihad is jihad bin nafs, that we fight with our own egos and our own desires and so on, to lead an upright and holy and righteous life, which others take as the true example of how a Muslim should live. With that, let us turn to أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ أخذنا ميثاقكم ورفعنا فوقكم الطور خذوا ما آتيناكم بقوة واسمعوا قالوا سمعنا وعصينا وأشربوا في قلوبهم العجل بكفرهم قل بئس ما يعمركم به إيمانكم إن كنتم مؤمنين. And its English translation is, and when we made a covenant with you and raised the mountain above you, take hold of that which we have given you with firmness and obey. They said, we hear and disobey. And they were made to imbibe the love of the calf into their hearts on account of their disbelief. Say, evil is that which your faith bids you if you are believers. And today we will look at this phrase, Qalu sami'na wa asayna. Now, Qalu means they said. Translated here, they said. So we look at the words sami'na wa asayna. So let's turn to my note here on my computer. I can find them. So here we are. Let me just Need to slightly rearrange the windows. I have so many windows open. And I don't mean windows as in the wall, that is windows on my screen. Okay, so the first word, its root is seen, meme, ain, and it is in two segments, na, which is a pronoun, and sami. And it occurs in the Holy Quran 185 times in 10 different formats, 10 different combinations, which make this. On other devices using this internet, which is causing this constant problems, and they need to get off their devices. So we don't continue to have this problem. Okay, so okay, and this word means so let us see what it says. I have to move my windows slightly. My notes are being obscured by other bits and pieces. Okay, so we have seen meme ain, as-sam'u, and that of course refers to the ability. And interestingly, the Holy Quran or Arabic language also uses the same word for the body with which you hear, which is the ear. And as an example, I cite to you chapter 2, verse 7, Khatamallahu ala qulubihim wa ala sam'ihim. Khatamallah, sealed. Allah has sealed. What has He sealed? Qulubihim, their hearts, wa ala sam'ihim, and their ears. So here, the word actually stands for ears rather than hearing or listening. So we also have innahum anis sam'i lab'azulun, chapter 26, verse 212, that they were removed from the places where they could engage in divine converse. In chapter 50, verse 37, we have Aw alaqas sama'a wa huwa shaheed. And that means listening attentively. Listening attentively. Because, we got the video back. Okay. So, chapter 8, verse 31 says, وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا قَالُوا قَدْ سَمِعْنَا لَوْ نَشَاءُ لَقُلْنَا. And that means that when our messages are read to them and God's revelation is related to them, and they say that, okay, so, we've heard. If we wanted to, we could write something like this. So basically, they're denying its divine revelation. Or this one that is under consideration. Sami'na wa athayna, chapter 2, verse 93, which we're looking at today. And they say, well, okay, we've heard, but, we are not going to obey it. We are not going to follow it. As opposed to chapter 2, verse 285. Sami'na wa atayna. We understood your command and we obey. And then there is also a warning in the Holy Quran about people. It says, La takunu kallazina qalu sami'na wa hum la yasma'un. And don't become like those people who say that we hear or we've heard God's command. But in fact, they haven't. It's a little bit like students in a class, isn't it? There are some students who are actually looking at the blackboard, listening to the teacher, and everything is going in, and they're making notes and all this kind of thing. There are some students who are looking at the blackboard and listening, but nothing's actually going in because they're dreaming about something else. There are some who are looking at the blackboard and not even listening to what is being said. And then there are those who are simply daydreaming. But there's only one group out of all these who will benefit from that teaching. Those who are looking at the blackboard, those who are reading the blackboard, those who are listening to the lecturer, and those who are concentrating and paying attention and trying to learn. And this is what God is saying. Don't become like those who say, yes, we've heard and we understand God's command. But the truth is that they haven't. They haven't listened to it. They haven't paid any attention to it. And this is very important, and this is the point of this verse of the Holy Quran, that there are people who say, yeah, well, okay, so what? We've heard what you've got to say, but we're not going to accept it. So sometimes Sami is the word for the person, the listener. And some people say that Sami applies to both the person speaking and the person who is listening. But there's a difference of opinion about that. So let us carry on with the next word of this verse of the Holy Quran, which is wa'athayna. Now this consists of 3 segments. Wa is a conjunction, or as I call them, connecting word, and then at the end we have na, and that is a pronoun, just like we had earlier on, sami'na. So this word has 3 parts, and you see it's quite easy to find the roots. Wa is a conjunction, you take that off, that's not part of the basic word. Na is the pronoun, you take that off, and you're left with ayn, fad, and ya, and that is a root, the triliteral root. Now, unfortunately, I picked an example where there is disagreement. Some people say the root is ayn, fad, wa, and some people say it's ayn, fad, and ya. So trust me to pick the word where there is disagreement. Okay, anyway. This occurs in the holy, the root occurs, or words made or based on this root occur 32 times. 27 times is the word asa, and well, that leaves 5 times, which takes care of the other 3 words. They occur once or twice, and it means to disobey. So, and of course, disobedience, the noun, also comes from this. So let me just looking for, here we are. So it's this dictionary says that there is a difference of opinion, and as I said, that some people say it's ayn, fad, wa, the root, and the others say it's ayn, fad, ya, and it means a stick, a staff, a rod, and so on. And the Holy Quran says, for example, Alki Afaq, 27, chapter 27, verse 10. Throw down your staff or your rod. Halqa Afaq, chapter 7, verse 107. And Moses threw down his staff. And again, فَأَلْقَوْا حِبَالَهُمْ Waqi, Sayyi, Waqi, Waqi, Sayyahum. Chapter 10, verse 26. And they threw down their ropes and their staffs and sticks and rods and whatever else. But it also means disobedience. And it's used as such in the Holy Quran. For example, about Adam, وَعَصَىٰ آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَىٰ. Chapter 20, verse 121. And Adam, when he disobeyed Allah, وَمَن يَعْصِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Chapter 4, verse 14. And whoever disobeys Allah and His Prophet. So rebellious, disobedient, and so on are all the words for it. Interestingly, if you have, for example, a camel, a baby camel, and it doesn't follow and obey the mother, the same word is used, al-afi. Al-afi, I mean. So that because he's disobeyed, he got out of line. And the same thing, and the bird flew away. So wherever it's a question of going away, straying, etc., etc., then this word applies. My apologies again to our viewers who might have had, I said might have had, who did have difficulty because for some reason we kept on losing the video signal during this broadcast. We'll have to have a look at that so that it doesn't happen again. It's the first time it's happened. We managed to get the broadcast back, but we shouldn't lose it. With that, and the prayer that whoever you are and wherever you may be, regardless of your religion or sect or nationality or color or creed, may Allah keep the whole of humanity safe and sound and free from harm. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye. Until inshallah, when we meet again tomorrow.